Hello, 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 all my beautiful, gorgeous Aries signs. This is your astrology reading for the month of March. I'm sorry, I've got Spirit is highlighting other things and throwing off my words, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm keeping everything all intact as I'm starting to talk to you. This is for all Aries signs, and that means Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. But I do have a lot of brand new people either coming to me in general in person or starting to follow me on YouTube and so forth. And a lot of people are, new to their path or maybe just new to astrology. And so I'm making sure I throw out there. Do check out all three of your zodiac signs, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Maybe even Venus, or if you have a couple planets in one house, one sign, it may be, smart for you to check out that reading as well. And the reason why is if you're like a sun or an ascending Aries, we're pretty much talking about your core, following the houses as we are speaking about them, but we're looking at it from a core energy as you are maturing and growing. But if you're a Venus Aries, then we're talking about your sensitivities. And if you're a moon Aries, we're talking about your unconscious and conscious emotional depth. Now, emotional and mindful depth, I should say, because the way I see Venus is not, all about love. It's not all, I don't see Venus as, like Aphrodite and the love idea of what most people want to put out there. I see Venus more about your sensitivities and talking to you about what feels good for you and why it feels good for you. But she also speaks to you about what it hurts and why it hurts, such as betrayal and why that hurts you so badly. Whether it's positive or negative on your sensitivity can completely be a different feeling and reasoning behind the emotions and the clarity of the mind and the heart. And it's helping you to understand the bigger scope of things. And this is why I always tell you to check out all three of your signs and possibly your Venus. And also, I do astrology for people. I don't just do it online. So, if you are interested in your own personal astrology chart or transiting charts, you can always find out that information in the description box below. And if you enjoy the videos, please like them because that helps me to grow. With that being said, if you do not know what your moon or your sun or your moon or your rising sign is, and you don't want a reading from me, you just want to know what you want to know, it's that simple. That's cool. Just Google it. There's a lot of ascending and moon calculators out there, and it make it easy for you to at least know what they are. All right, with that being said, let me jump back into everything the Spirit's trying to throw at me. First off, I'm being told by Spirit, full intellect this month. Full intellect this month, but I'm being told feelings. Definitely a lot of feelings and sacral chakra. I am being told this is working over getting over some insecure energies, as well as anger, blame, bitterness, fear. It's definitely got sacral chakra, communication, self-expression, third eye. How is it that you are seeing things? And are you seeing things right? And what I mean by that isn't, are you seeing through the bullshit? Because yes, that's important. But a lot of this energy that's coming in is specifically helping us overcome fears, anxieties, doubts, worries. Also making us break our old bad habits. Bad habits of insecurities, of rejection, helplessness, overwhelmed, trying to be perfect, fear, afraid, anxiety, doubt, worry. A lot of these energies are coming in from a darker aspect, even though as we're coming through the month, and trying to lift us up out of those lower vibrations. And that's actually a positive thing, but it may not necessarily be coming in like ooey gooey, soft and chewy, warm ways. And this is why I'm saying that third eye, what I'm being given is asking you, what's the vision? What's the wisdom? What's the inspiration or imagination, not inspiration, of how you're viewing things? Are you viewing things from a more positive way that's going to help you rise and change your manifestation? That's law of attraction, people. Or is it, you're viewing things for how you see right now and the bullshit that you feel like you're seeing through and having to sift through that, like just keep trucking through the waters, sifting through it, and I'm going to make it through it, but you're kind of feeling low. Even if you're still feeling low, your vibrational frequency will be low. So the idea is to change the way we think. It's not saying that the things that are negative are acceptable. It's saying that we have to change the way we view it so that we can lift ourselves up and out of it. Doesn't mean to allow the same things to happen. It does speak to us about how we feel about ourselves and how we are overcoming pride, fear, grief, sorrow, shame, blame, anxiety, doubt, insecurities. Addressing them, but not staying in that lower vibration. Addressing where we acknowledging that it's happening and moving forward. Because this has to do with setting new security and new ways of judgment. But I'm feeling that this is self-judgment. I mean, there is definitely judgment going on the outside, but this energy more is initiating your own self-motivated actions. Your action-oriented self-assertiveness. And what will you do with the free will you're given because of that? But you are definitely dealing with some of your more private areas and learning how to overcome, I guess, some of those darker aspects so that in the exterior world, it's helping you rise and grow, because I am getting a lot of growth for you, and I'm getting a lot of third eye right now with your either changing them or raising them. And what I mean by that is your ethics, your morals, your spiritual truths. You're either changing them or you're raising them into a higher aspect, because I'm like, my head feels like it's being just pulled right up and off right now. So it's definitely unblocking areas within that. But I'm also getting, there is some stress on that view of how you see forward, see further into the future, and allow yourself to manifest positively. This is where you're coming in through those blocks for some of you, because what I'm getting is where you feel like you have the intuition, you feel like it's questioning and not taking action. The point is you need to take action when you feel that your intuition, your higher self, is giving you that go ahead, yes, do that. Don't doubt that stuff. This is about taking those actions, because without actually bringing it into this material and physical world and making the actions change, nothing will change. This is also about trying to go at your own pace when, more or less, I'm feeling like you might be rushing and trying to over control things. But I feel like it's over controlling things that's on the outside of you. and what happens on the outside of you that other people are responsible for, and they control, that's theirs. You can't change them. That's like a deer. The way spirit works through me is always through animals. And you can only offer other people to do what's right. You can't make them do it. And that's part of the deer medicine. But this is definitely about having compassion as you're moving forward, but actually moving forward, taking action where you can, where it's up to you to actually have the ability to do it, not take it away from someone else, because that never will work. Hold on. I'm getting a little confused, and I have notes everywhere that remind me of the way spirit works with me. Because the one thing I don't do is really hear very well. You're probably feeling, you might be hearing, like the ears may be getting actual signals. You may be hearing those tones of, going on, and that's actual frequencies that are being told to you about the physical growth that you need to do. And when you are getting that information, is what they're telling me right now. Like I said, I have notes reminding me of this stuff. And when you're feeling like you're getting those cues from them, that's the time that they're telling you this is action that you need to do. Masculine action that you need to do at that time. Hoping and wishing and dreaming it will not make it happen. It is something you actually need to physically make happen. They're also saying you're going to be overcoming some of your own hidden self and reputation. Maybe it's about shifting the reputation into what you're more of wanting to see. And what I mean by that is coming into being more of that person you're wanting to have the world see you as, because you're actually stepping into that power more. But I am also getting some head and heart communication issues where, like, the head has a lot of head chatter. You know, like when you want to meditate, and there's days you could get in very good with the meditation, and then there's days that the head just won't shut up. This is what I'm talking about. What I'm getting is it's trying to be perfect, being overwhelmed and burdened, stubborn and inflexible, trying to hold on to too much, and try to keep everything, like I said, keep everything in control and in order. But the head will never gets a chance to shut off unless you're meditating. You tell it to shut off because it's time to listen to the heart. And this is a balance that these two are having a problem communicating, it seems like, at least for some of you. And that's also causing throat chakra issues. You know, with the I coulda, shoulda, woulda, I wish I would have done that. I could have done that. Well, what if I did that? Coulda, shoulda, woulda. And if you sit in your coulda, shoulda, wouldas, you'll drive yourself batshit crazy. So my whole point is, take some time here for meditation. Try to help the mind to, shut its mind chatter up a little bit. Allow the heart to help balance out that conversation. This will help your creative expression come forward. And then it'll help you start to, clear up all of those chakras in general and illuminate them, ascend, start unblocking them. Also, for some of you, there's an ear, nose, and throat issue, and that is exactly what I was talking about. Even possibly jaw. But that's because being a blockage, because the heart and the head can't communicate properly, which is causing a problem with the creative expression. Especially outwardly towards the community. At least for those who I am picking that up on. All right. I'm also being told for many of you, the 4th is going to be a highly sensitive day, March 4th. And that's because Venus is going to be moving from one sign to another. Mercury is going to be moving from one sign to another while it's in Aquarius. And Spirit is saying Taurus, which for you is your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. It's where the shape-shifting is happening in that very self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. This is where you're overcoming the insecurities. You're investing in you. This is where you're shape-shifting. And this is also where the manifestation first starts to become created. And that has to do with the law of attraction. The law of attraction has to do with your spiritual urges about how you feel about yourself. And if you're not feeling good about yourself or the situation or what surrounds you, then the vibration is lower. And no matter how high you're trying to manifest, you have to raise you first. And this is why it's dealing with insecurities, to raise you back on top, get you back, in your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, shape-shifting that so that the vibration lifts and the manifestation lifts. Law of attraction. Definitely Taurus energy is what they're giving me, especially on the 4th, or at least because it's in my notes. And so it's either on the 4th or they're just pointing out that self-worth, self-value, Uranus, Taurus energies, independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem throughout the whole month. I'm also being told the full moon is on the 9th, and then when we hit the Virgo energy, I will go over that with you. Because you have the full moon on the 9th in Virgo, and Spirit is highlighting that as a growth point for you. You also have the new moon, which is in Aries, your sign, at the end of the month on the 24th. So let's look at what we have going on. Your first house has Chiron and Lilith in it, and directly across from it is the 7th house. Now, the reason that's important is because directly across from Chiron and Lilith, which are going to be within 5 degrees of each other all month, this is the wounded healer in your sign, forcing more me first energy, me healing energy, self-awareness healing, personality healing, character healing, core healing, illumination healing, and it's all going to be doing it by where those insecurities are. Because it's Chiron, the wounded healer. So where are the wounds keeping you from being illuminated? Lilith is sitting right on top of Chiron. And this is very much in the beginning of Aries. So this is definitely a beginning of the cycle for these two. And you're a beginning of the cycle energy and an alpha energy. So this is the alpha learning how to heal the alpha. And whereas the alpha's fire not quite strong and powerful, how is the root not really strong? And where are you starting to see the awareness of where that sensitivity in your root, your security, your safety, where are you feeling insecure? Because it's talking about healing it. But directly across from it is Libra, which is your 7th house. The collective consciousness, how Maya is there. So there's going to be mirroring going on. Some kind of mirroring is showing itself to you. The collective consciousness is trying to show you these parts of your insecurities that you need to unattach from and bring healing to so you can shapeshift. But they're going to be showing it to you through the relationships in one form or another. Partnerships, relationships, contracts, parents, children, loved ones, husbands, wives, working environments, even open enemies, even divorces. Anything you care about, you have a relationship with, even when you don't want to care about it anymore. Okay? And it is definitely saying something in that outer world is showing you the insecurities that you have and where you've accidentally given that away, lost that self-awareness, lost that part of your character, that personality. Chiron, the wounded healer, and there's something here saying that there's something been lost and some fire has been lost. The collective consciousness is showing you where someone else out there, either you're noticing that they've lost it because you've lost it, or they have a lot of it and you want it back and you're realizing it. You're going to be noticing that all month. Plus, at the other end of Aries, you have Medusa, Eris there. Trouble, toil, and strife. So this is automatically saying something about that appearance, that character, that personality, that core, that has that fire, that illumination, that insecurity that you've come to probably think is a security. But it's not serving you. It's actually an insecurity that was originally based off of fear that you've kind of talked yourself into believing that's the way it needs to be. Medusa is at the other end, far away from Chiron, but that's the whole point. Medusa was never given an opportunity to heal, because that's how I see Eris. She is trouble, toil, and strife, and she's like, you know, she's like the vampire that just keeps sinking her teeth in, sucking it dry, and then on to the next thing, but won't let it heal. This is saying there's something here about this that you're trying to let heal. But she's also straight across from Haumea and Ura, which is the sacrifice and commitment of the growth of your spirituality, which is asking you, are you coming back to you? Are you taking sacrifice and commitment for yourself? The relationship is about you. The life you are living is your investment. Is asking you, are you putting the investment into your life the way you want it to be? Into these relationships the way you want it to be? They should be balanced. They should be fair. They should be just. Because this is also Libra. So it should be in harmony. And relationships are never always in harmony, but the idea is for them to try to be. And they're showing you where they're out of whack because it's showing you what you need to heal about yourself before you can have that relationship truly be healed and healthy. Which one is it? Make is the lotus flower. The lotus flower grows in some of the swampiest, nasty waters, but it's also what we look at as one of the most highest vibrational, ascending, spiritual, healing symbols. Part of that is because it grows from a swamp. It grows from the dark nastiness. This is helping us to understand we're simply cleaning off our inner dark nastiness so that we can realize there is fresh air. It does still exist. And if we keep aiming for it, we won't be in the swamp anymore because we bloomed. And putting these relationships into ones that also support that. Okay? That is your first and your seventh house in a nutshell. Now, your second house is where Spirit was saying to pay attention to that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, the shape-shifting of that investment. Taurus is here. Taurus is here, and so is Venus. And this is the sensitivities to where those insecurities are and where you're afraid to shape-shift into yourself because you're not quite ready to accept yourself, but it's time to. Asking you, do you truly have freedom within yourself? Do you truly feel balanced within yourself? Self-worth, self-value, self-esteem that help you strengthen your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your creative self. And Venus is showing you where it is and where it is not working for you and why. If it's sensitive and it's making you feel like you can't explore your freedom, that's because that's an insecurity. And most likely that seventh house of those relationships and rules in those relationships have kept you from believing in yourself And you've actually held on to insecurities and made them your securities. But this is about losing that stuff, changing these bad habits, and finding out how to touch base with that individuality, uniqueness, freedom, and inventive self. Because when you're coming into those energies, then you're coming back into your true self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem, and you're overcoming all of that. But Spirit is saying, in order to do that, you must stick to your guns with soulfully sticking with your morals, your ethics on a spiritual level. Now, you don't really have anything going on in your third house, but your fourth house is your inner emotional security. Now, even though the third house doesn't really have anything going on in it, it's Gemini. You are going to have Vista coming through here, but Vista is the soul fire itself. So she's actually illuminating that. She's actually illuminating the communication house. Mercury will have just came out of retrograde on the 9th, but it will still be in Aquarius, so it's not in this house. Still rules it, but it'll be going into shadow too for half of the month. So the soul fire being in the communication house, Gemini, which is all intellect or all emotions. Soul fire, probably filling the emotions more. And Mercury in shadow, definitely starting to pick on yourself for some of your own insecurities and darker sides that you haven't been able to love yourself into acceptance. But this is part of that communication that they're talking about, of the healing. The Spirit keeps pointing out to me that it's healing this month. As you get into the fourth house, this is your inner emotional security itself. It is the home, the soul, the vessel. As long as you're still living on this earth, this is the vessel. So you better get right with it, because you're not getting another one. This is the roots of your life. This is the personal foundations that create your life, the investment into yourself so that the life can be good, so you can have inner emotional security. The North Node is here, and this is Cancer for you. This is talking only about nurturing yourself in healthy and proper ways. And what part of this have you been neglecting? And it's important, and it's very imperative that you start really getting this message now, because it's going to be moving in the next month and a half. So what you have been neglecting, what you have been nurturing, is really probably starting to hit you under the belt, in the gut, and really make you question that personal foundation of that inner emotional security, the true roots of who and what you are. And that's because you're maturing and you're growing and you're changing. And that means you're having to address these things. Doesn't mean that anything's bad, but you do have to. We all have our darker aspects that we have to overcome, and that we have to accept and love about ourselves as we learn to vibrate higher. And that's part of what this is. This is the karmic lessons that are being created so that the reincarnation can happen. But when the North Node moves out in the next month and a half, it's not going to be back for over 13 years. So this is your one opportunity to be getting this shit right. This is why it's starting to hit so hard, because it's trying to make sure you're on the right path before the North Node moves into Gemini. And for you, that's going to be going back into your communication house. So the more that you're learning how to communicate with yourself right in healthy ways, the less it's going to be hard on you when it moves into that next house. But this is about making sure you don't have to wait a whole another 13 years to get this memo, so that you're getting it right. Now, with that being said, I'm at 29 minutes. So I'm going to come back for part 2 from 5 right on up. And I think, to be honest, it's only going to be, because you don't really have a whole lot going on. We're going right to the 10th house, 11th, and the 12th house for the most part. But come back, because you're going to want to know whatever Spirit's telling you about that full moon on the 9th. Love you guys. Bye.